Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and this is Pramod, and this is another Core 1 practice test series, and this part is also very helpful to pass the Core 1 exam. So let's go to the questions, and this is the question number 1. A user complains that a newly installed internal hard drive is not being recognized by the BIOS/UEFI or the operating system. You open the case and discover the SATA data cable is connected, but the power cable is missing. So which of the following is the best next step? So let's check the options. The first option is replace the SATA cable. Next option is connect the SATA power connector. Next option is update the BIOS/UEFI firmware. And the last option is format the drive using disk management. So let's check the correct answer for this question. So first option is replace the SATA cable. This is the incorrect answer. Let's check the explanation. So replacing the SATA cable will not resolve the issue of the internal hard drive not being recognized. The SATA data cable is responsible for transporting data between the hard drive and the motherboard, while the power cable provides the necessary power for the hard drive to function. Second option is connect the SATA power connector, and this is the correct answer for this question. So let's check the explanation. So connecting the SATA power connector is the best next step, as the missing power cable is the likely cause of the internal hard drive not being recognized. Without power, the hard drive will not be able to spin up and communicate with the system. Third option is update the BIOS/UEFI firmware. This is not correct option. So updating the BIOS/UEFI firmware is not necessary in the situation, as the issue lies with the power cable not being connected to the internal hard drive. Firmware updates are typically done to address compatibility issues or add new features, not to resolve power supply issues. Last option is format the drive using disk management. This is also incorrect answer, and the explanation is formatting the drive using disk management will not help in this scenario, as the drive is not being recognized due to the lack of power. Formatting the drive is a data management task that comes after the drive is properly connected and recognized by the system. So let's check the next question. And the next question is, your office has a strict policy to prevent unauthorized USB flash drive uses. You must disable all USB ports on several office PCs without physically removing them. So which of the following BIOS/UEFI settings will best meet the requirement? First option is configure secure boot. Second option is enable fast boot. Next option is disable onboard USB ports. And the last option is change the SATA mode to HCI. So let's check the correct answer for this question. So first option is configure secure boot. This is not correct answer, because the configuring secure boot is a security feature that ensures that only trusted software is loaded during the boot processes. While it enhances system security, it does not specifically address the issue of disabling USB ports to prevent unauthorized users. Next option is enable fast boot. This is also incorrect option, because enabling fast boot is a feature that speeds up the boot process by skipping certain system checks. It does not directly relate to disabling USB ports on office PCs to prevent unauthorized users. Third option is disable onboard USB ports. This is the correct answer for this question. And let's check the explanation. So disabling onboard USB ports in the BIOS/UEFI settings is the most effective way to prevent unauthorized USB flash drive uses. By disabling the USB ports, users will not be able to connect any external USB devices, including flash drives, to the PCs. Last option is change the SATA mode to HCI. This is incorrect answer. Changing the SATA mode to HCI is a setting related to the storage configuration of the system and does not have any direct impact on disabling USB ports to prevent unauthorized users. So let's move to the next question. And the next question is, a technician notices that a computer with the 4 memory modules is only detecting 2 of them. After resetting the modules, the problem continues. Which of the following is the most likely issues? First option is bad CMOS battery. Second option is incorrectly matched RAM types. Third option is overheating CPU. And the last option is outdated GPU driver. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is bad CMOS battery. This is an incorrect answer because a bad CMOS battery would not typically cause a computer to only detect 2 out of 4 memory models. The CMOS battery is responsible for maintaining the system clock and BIOS settings, not memory detections. Second option is incorrectly match RAM types. So this is the correct answer for this question. So let's check the explanation. So incorrectly matched RAM types can cause compatibility issues and result in the computer only detecting a portion of the installed memory models. This is the most likely issues in this scenario as it directly relates to the problem described. Third option is overheating CPU. This is incorrect answer because an overheating CPU would not selectively affect the detection of memory models, while overheating can cause system instability and performance issues. It is not likely to be the cause of only 2 out of 4 memory models being detected. The last option, outdated GPU driver. This is also incorrect answer because an outdated GPU driver would not impact the detection of memory models in a computer. GPU drivers are related to graphics processing and display output, not memory detections. So let's move to the next question. And the next question is, a user has upgraded their motherboard, CPU and RAM. After powering on, the CPU fan spins briefly and the system then shuts down. No beep codes are heard. Which of the following is the most likely cause? The first option is the RAM is too slow for the CPU. Second option is the POC is underpowered for the new components. Next option is the front panel connectors are attached incorrectly. And the last option is the BIOS is configured for UEFI instead of legacy. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is the RAM is too slow for the CPU is not correct answer, and explanation is the speed of the RAM typically does not cause the system to shut down intermediately after powering on. While mismatched RAM speeds can cause performance issues, it is not the most likely cause of the system shutting down in this scenario. Next option is the PC is underpowered for the new components, and this is the correct answer for this question. So let's check the explanation. An underpowered POC for the new components can cause the system to shut down shortly after powering on. As the components may not be receiving enough power to function properly, this is the most likely cause of the issues described. So third option is the front panel connectors are attached incorrectly. This is also incorrect answer. Incorrectly attached front panel connectors may cause issues with power buttons, reset buttons and LEDs, but it is unlikely to cause the system to shut down immediately after the powering on without any beep codes. The last option is the BIOS is configured for UEFI instead of legacy. This is also incorrect answer. The BIOS configuration for UEFI or legacy mode typically does not cause the system to shut down immediately after powering on. While it can affect the system boot processes, it is not the most likely cause of the described issues. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, an executive wants a thin, lightweight device with a high resolution touchscreen primarily for reading, note taking and emails. She also wants to connect a keyboard and mouse sometimes. So which device form factor fits best? First option is traditional laptop. Next option is tablet. Third option is all-in-one desktop. And last option is gaming laptop. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is traditional laptop. This is incorrect answer. A traditional laptop may not be the best fit for the executive's need as it is not as thin and lightweight as desired. While it does offer the ability to connect a keyboard and mouse, it may not provide the high resolution touchscreen experience desired for reading and note taking. Next option is tablet, and which is the correct answer for this question. A tablet fits best for the executive's requirements as it's thin, lightweight and typically comes with a high resolution touchscreen. It is ideal for reading, note taking and emails and can easily connect to keyboard and mouse when needed, providing versatility and portability. Third option is all-in-one desktop. This is also incorrect answer. An all-in-one desktop is not the most suitable choice for the executive's need as it is not a portable or lightweight as desired. While it may offer a high-resolution touchscreen, it lacks the probability and flexibility of a tablet for reading, note-taking, and emails on the go. Last option is gaming laptop. This is also incorrect answer. The Gaming laptop is not the best choice for the executive's requirement as it typically heavier and bulkier than a thin, lightweight device. While it may offer a high resolution touchscreen, it may not as a practical for reading, note taking and emails due to its gaming focused design and features. So let's move to the next question. Next question is, the customer's machine randomly reboots. The technician notices the CPU is running at a high very temperature. Which of the following is the first step to fix the issue? First option is check the CPU cooler and ensure thermal paste is applied properly. Next option is replace the motherboard. Third option is update the CPU microcode. Last option is add a second GPU. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is check the CPU cooler and ensure thermal paste is applied properly. So this is the correct answer for this question. Checking the CPU cooler and ensuring that the thermal paste is applied properly is the first step to address high CPU temperatures. Inadequate cooling or improper application of thermal paste can lead to overheating issues, causing the CPU to run at high temperatures and potentially result in random reboots. Next option is replace the motherboard. This is incorrect answer. Replacing the motherboard is not the first step to fix the issue of high CPU temperatures and random reboots. The motherboard is not directly responsible for CPU cooling and replacing it would not address the root cause of the problem. Third option is update the CPU microcode. This is also incorrect answer. Updating the CPU microcode may be a step to consider in certain scenarios, but is not the first step to fix the issue of high CPU temperatures and random reboots. The primary focus should be on addressing the cooling solution and thermal paste application before considering microcode updates. Last option is add a second GPU. This is also incorrect answer. Adding a second GPU is unrelated to the issue of high CPU temperatures and random reboots. This action would not address the root cause of the problem and may even add more heat to the system, exacerbating the issues. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, medical imaging specialists need a workstation that can quickly load and process large 3D images. So which of the following components is mostly critical to meet this requirement? First option is high-end sound card. Second option is high capacity fast SSD storage. Third option is dual gigabit Ethernet ports, and last option is multiple optical disk drives. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is high-end sound card. This is incorrect answer. A high-end sound card is not critical for loading and processing large 3D images. Sound cards are primarily used for audio processing, and do not significantly impact the performance of image processing tasks. Second option is high capacity fast SSD storage. So this is the correct answer for this question. Let's check the explanation. So high capacity fast SSD storage is the most critical component for quickly loading and processing large 3D images. SSDs provide faster read and write speeds compared to traditional hard drives, resulting in a quickly access to data and improve overall performance. Third option is dual gigabit Ethernet ports. This is incorrect answer. Dual gigabit Ethernet ports are not directly related to the loading and processing large 3D images. Ethernet ports are used for network connectivity and data transfer, but they do not have a significant impact on the speed of image processing tasks. Last option is multiple optical disk drive. This is also incorrect answer. Multiple optical disk drives are not critical for loading and processing large 3D images. Optical disk drives are used for reading and writing data from disk, which is not essential for image processing tasks that rely on storage speed and capacity. So let's move to the next question. Next question is, you receive a laptop with a dim display even at maximum brightness. External monitor output is fine. Which component likely needs replacement? First option is CPU. Next option is SATA hard drive. Third option is wireless antenna. Last option is LCD, backlight or inverter. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is CPU. This is incorrect answer. The CPU is responsible for processing data and instructions in a computer. It does not directly affect the display brightness of a laptop. So replacing the CPU would not address the dim display issues. Second option is SATA hard drive. This is also incorrect answer. The SATA hard drive is used for storage purposes and does not have a direct impact on the display brightness of a laptop. Replacing the hard drive would not resolve the dim display problems. Third option is wireless antenna. and this is also incorrect answer. The wireless antenna is responsible for wireless communication and does not affect the display brightness of a laptop. Replacing the wireless antenna would not fix the dim display issue. Second option is LCD backlight or inverter. This is the correct answer for this question. And let's check the explanation. The LCD backlight or inverter is responsible for illuminating the display on a laptop. If the display is dim even at maximum brightness, it is likely that the backlight or inverter is faulty and needs replacement to resolve the issue. So let's move to the next question. So the next question is, your company uses a virtualization platform that requires hardware assisted virtualization. Which CPU feature should you verify is present on the processor? First option is STT hyperthreading, second option is VTX MDV, third option is triple channel memory, last option is XDBit. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is STT hyperthreading. This is incorrect answer. STT hyperthreading is a technology that allows a single physical processor core to simulate two virtual processor cores, improving performance by allowing multiple threads to run simultaneously. However, it is not directly related to the hardware assisted virtualization, so it is not the CPU feature to verify for this requirement. And the second option is VTX MDV. This is the correct answer for this question. VTX MDV are CPU features that provides hardware assisted virtualization capabilities, allowing virtual machines to run more efficiently by offloading virtualization tasks to the CPU. This feature is essential for virtualization platforms that require hardware assisted virtualization, making it the correct choice to verify on the processor. Third option is triple channel memory. This is also incorrect answer. Triple channel memory refers to a memory architecture that allows for increased memory bandwidth by using the 3 memory channels instead of the traditional 2 channels. While memory configuration is important for overall system performance, it is not directly related to the hardware assisted virtualization, so it is not a CPU feature to verify for this requirement. Last option is XDBit. This is also incorrect answer for this question. XDBit, executive disable bit, is a security feature that helps prevent malicious code from executing on the system by marking certain areas of memories as non-executable. While XDBit is important for system security, it is not directly related to hardware assisted virtualization, so it is not a CPU feature to verify for this requirement. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, a PC repeatedly displays CMOS checksum error on boot. After resetting the date time, the error reappears the next day. So which component is most likely causing this issue? First option is CMOS battery, second option is PSU 12-volt rail, next option is front panel cable, and last option is CPU fan. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is CMOS battery, and this is the correct answer for this question. The CMOS battery is responsible for maintaining the date and time settings in the CMOS memory when the computer is powered off. If the CMOS battery is failing or dead, it will result in a CMOS checksum error on a boot, and the date time settings will not be retained, causing the error to reappear after resetting. Next option is PSU 12-volt rail. This also is incorrect answer. The PSU 12-volt rail is responsible for providing power to the components of the computer, while faulty PSU can cause various issues. It is not directly related to the CMOS checksum error that is specifically related to the CMOS battery. Third option is front panel cable. This is also incorrect answer. The front panel cable is responsible for connecting the power button, reset button, and indicator lights on the front panel of the computer case to the motherboard. Issues with the front panel cable would not cause a CMOS checksum error related to the CMOS battery. Last option is CPU fan. This is also incorrect answer. The CPU fan is responsible for cooling the CPU to prevent overheating, while a failing CPU fan can cause the CPU to overheat and potentially lead to system instability. It is not directly related to the CMOS checksum error caused by failing CMOS battery. So let's move to the next question. And the next question is, a user with a new color laser printer complains that color images are printing incorrectly. Black is fine, but other colors print faintly. So which of the following is the most likely issues? The first option is the fuzzer is malfunctioning. The second option is low or empty color toner cartridges. Third option is paper tray misconfiguration. Last option is faulty Ethernet cable. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is the fuzzer is malfunctioning. This is the incorrect answer. The fuser is responsible for melting toner onto the paper during the printing process. If the fuser is malfunctioning, it is not more likely to cause issues with the overall print quality, such as smudging or streaking, rather than specifically affecting the color output. Next option is low or empty color toner cartridges, and this is the correct answer for this question. Low or empty color toner cartridges are the most likely issues when color images are painting faintly. If the color toner cartridges are running low or empty, it can result in faded or incomplete color prints, while black prints may still appear fine. Third option is paper tray misconfiguration. This is the incorrect answer. Paper tray misconfiguration would not specifically cause color images to print incorrectly. These issues would more likely result in the paper jams, misfits, or incorrect paper size being used during printing. Last option is faulty Ethernet cable. This is also incorrect answer. A faulty Ethernet cable would not directly impact the quality of color prints. These issues would affect the printer's connectivity to the network, but it would not cause specific color printing problems. So let's move to the next question. And the next question is, you are installing a graphics card requiring an additional 6-pin connector, but the PUC has only 4 Molex connectors. So which adapters will best resolve issues? So first option is SATA to 6-pin adapter. Second option is Molex to PCI 6-pin adapter. Third option is SATA to 8-pin PCI adapter. Last option is Molex to Burge adapter. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is SATA to 6-pin adapter. This is incorrect answer. SATA to 6-pin adapter is not a correct choice in this scenario, as SATA connectors are typically used for external storage devices and not for connecting graphic cards to power supplies. Next option is Molex to PCI 6-pin adapter, and this is the correct answer for this question. Molex to PCI 6-pin adapter is the best choice in this situation, as it allows you to convert the 4-pin Molex connectors from the PCU to a 6-pin PCI connector required by the graphics card, ensuring compatibility and proper power delivery. Third option is SATA to 8-pin PCI adapter. This is the incorrect answer. SATA to 8-pin PCI adapter is not the ideal solution in this case, as it converts SATA power connectors to 8-pin PCI connectors, which may not be compatible with the 6-pin connector required by the graphics card. And the last option is Molex to Burge adapter. This is also incorrect answer. Molex to Burge adapter is not a correct choice, as Burge connectors are typically used for older hardware components and are not suitable for connecting modern graphics cards that require PCI power connectors. So let's move to the next question. The next question is an engineer's workstation used for 3D design and modeling. So which specialized components will benefit most for high-end 3D rendering performance? First option is sound card. Second option is professional grade graphics card. Third option is dual layer Blu-ray burner. And last option is additional gigabit NIC. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is sound card. The sound card is not directly related to the third 3D rendering performance, while sound quality may enhance the overall user experience. It does not significantly impact the rendering capabilities of the workstation. Next option is professional grade graphics card. This is the correct answer for this question. A professional grade graphics card is essential for high-end 3D rendering performance. These specialized cards are designed to handle complex graphics calculations and rendering high resolution image quickly, making them crucial for 3D design and modeling tasks. Third option is dual layer Blu-ray burner. This is incorrect answer. Dual layer Blu-ray burner used to optical disc burning and storage, but it does not directly impact 3D rendering performance. It is more relevant for data backup and media creation rather than improving rendering capabilities. Last option is additional gigabit NIC. This is also incorrect answer. An additional gigabit NIC is used for networking purposes and does not directly contribute to 3D rendering performance. While a fast network connection is important for transferring large files, it does not enhance the rendering capabilities of the workstation. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, after moving a user's workstation to a new desk, the PC's front USB ports no longer function. So which steps should you take first? First option is replace the motherboard. Second option is reconnect the front panel USB cable inside the case. Third option is move the user back to the old desk. Last option is install new USB drivers. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is replace the motherboard. This is incorrect answer. Replacing the motherboard is drastic and unnecessary step to take, as the issue is most likely related to a simple connection problem rather than a faulty motherboard. Second option is reconnect the front panel USB cable inside the case. So this is the correct answer for this question. Reconnecting the front panel USB cable inside the case is the first step to troubleshoot non-functioning front USB ports. It is common issues that occur when moving workstations and can easily be resolved by checking and resetting the internal connections. Third option is move the user back to the old desk. This is also incorrect answer. Moving the user back to the old desk is not practical solution to address the front USB port issues. It does not solve the underlying problem and only serves as a temporary workaround. And the last option is install new USB drivers. This is also incorrect answer. Installing new USB drivers is not the first step to take when front USB ports stop functioning after moving a workstation. The issue is more likely related to a physical connection problem rather than a driver issues. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, a small business user wants to build a RAID array to prevent data loss if a single drive fails, but maximum capacity. So which of the following RAID levels best suit this need? First option is RAID 0, second option is RAID 5, third option is RAID 1, and last option is RAID 10. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is RAID 0. RAID 0 does not provide any redundancy or fault tolerance. It is used for performance improvement by stripping data across multiple drives, but it does not offer any protection against drive failures. That's why this is the correct answer. Second option is RAID 5. So this is the correct answer for this question. And let's check the explanation. So RAID 5 is the best choice for maximizing capacity while also providing data redundancy. It uses block level stripping with distributed parity across all drives in the array, allowing for continued operation even if one drive fails. Third option is RAID 1. RAID 1 is also incorrect answer. RAID 1 mirrors data across multiple drives, providing data redundancy but at the expense of usable capacity. While it prevents data loss if a single drive fails, it does not maximum capacity as requested by the user. Last option is RAID 10. This is also incorrect answer because RAID 10 combines mirroring and stripping to provide both data redundancy and performance improvement. While it offers data protection and capacity optimization, it may not be the best choice for maximum capacity compared to RAID 5 in this scenario. So let's move to the next question. Next question is, a user needs to print checks with magnetic links. Which types of printer is most appropriate? First option is thermal printer, second option is 3D printer, third option is special check printer with MICR toner, and last option is inkjet with color fast cartridges. So let's check the correct answer for this question. First option is thermal printer. This is the incorrect answer. Thermal printer use heat to transfer ink onto paper, which is not suitable for printing checks with magnetic ink. They are more commonly used for receipts and labels. Next option is 3D printer. 3D printers are used for creating three-dimensional objects layer by layer using various materials such as plastic or metal. They are not designed for printing checks with magnetic ink. Third option is special check printer with MICR toner. This is the correct answer for this question. Let's check the explanation. So special check printers with MICR toner are specifically designed for printing checks with magnetic ink character recognition MICR technology. This type of printer ensures the readability and security of the printed checks. Last option is inject with color fast cartridges. This is also incorrect answer. Inject printers with color fast cartridges are not suitable for printing check with magnetic ink. They are more commonly used for printing documents, photos and graphics in color. So let's move to the next question. And the next question is, a laptop's battery is not charging. You replace the battery but the problem persists. So which of the following is the most likely cause? First option is BIOS needs updating. Next option is damaged CPU socket. Third option is overheated GPU. And last option is faulty power adapter or DC jack. So let's check the correct answer for this question. So first is a BIOS needs updating. So this is incorrect answer because updating the BIOS may improve system stability and performance, but it is unlikely to be the cause of a laptop battery not charging issue. The BIOS is responsible for managing hardware components and system settings, not directly related to the battery charging functionality. Second option is damaged CPU socket is also incorrect answer. A damaged CPU socket would typically result in the laptop not powering on experience CPU related issues. Rather than causing the battery not to charge, the CPU socket is not directly involved in the charging process. Third option is overheated GPU. This is also incorrect answer. An overheated GPU could lead to performance issues or system instability, but it's not the most likely cause of laptop battery not charging. The GPU is primarily responsible for graphics processing and does not directly affect the battery charging functions. And the last option is faulty power adapter or DC jack. So this is the correct answer for this question. A faulty power adapter or DC jack is the most likely cause of laptop battery not charging issues. The power adapter provides the necessary power to charge the battery. It is faulty or the DC jack is damaged. The laptop will not be able to charge the battery properly. So let's move to the next question. And the next question is, a technician must enable UEFI secure boot for a specialized kiosk system. After enabling, the PC refuses to load the existing OS, which is the most likely reason. First option is the system requires a TPM module. Second option is the OS is not signed or compatible with secure boot. Next option is the SSD is not GPT formatted. And last option is secure boot requires 32-bit drivers. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is the system requires a TPM module. This is an incorrect answer. While a TPM module may enhance security features, it is not a requirement for enabling UEFI secure boot. The system should still be able to load the existing OS even with a TPM module. And the next option is the OS is not signed or compatible with secure boot. So this is the correct answer for this question. UEFI secure boot requires the OS to be signed with a valid digital signature to ensure that only trusted software is loaded during the boot processes. If the existing OS is not signed or compatible with the secure boot, the system will refuse to load it. Third option is the SSD is not GPT formatted. So this is not correct answer. The SSD being GPT formatted is important for UEFI compatibility, but it should not prevent the existing OS from the loading after enabling UEFI secure boot. The issue is more likely related to OS compatibility with secure boot. Last option is secure boot requires 32-bit drivers. This is also incorrect answer. Secure boot does not specifically require 32-bit drivers. It is more focused on verifying the digital signature of the OS and its components to prevent unauthorized software from running during the boot processes. The issue with the existing OS is not loading is more likely due to compatibility issues with secure boot. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, a faulty GPU was replaced with an identical model. After the replacement, the OS fails to boot and displays a BSOD error. So which step should the technician try first? First option is perform a clean OS installation. Second option is boot into safe mode and reinstall the GPU drivers. Third option is update the system firmware. And last option is remove all other expansion cards. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is perform a clean OS installation. This is the incorrect answer. Performing a clean OS installation should be considered as a last resort, as it involves wiping out all data and settings on the system. It is not the first step to take when troubleshooting a BSOD error after replacing a GPU. Next option is boot into safe mode and reinstalling the GPU drivers. So this is the correct answer for this question. Booting into safe mode and reinstalling the GPU drivers is the most appropriate first step to take after replacing a faulty GPU. This can help resolve any driver related issues that may be causing the BSOD error. Third option is update the system firmware. This is incorrect answer. Updating the system firmware may be necessary in some cases, but it is not the first step to take when troubleshooting a BSOD error after replacing a GPU. It is recommended to start with reinstalling the GPU drivers in safe mode. Last option is remove all other expansion card. This is also incorrect answer. Removing all other expansion cards may help isolate the issue, but it is not the first step to take when troubleshooting a BSOD error after replacing a GPU. Reinstalling the GPU drivers in safe mode should be the initial troubleshooting step. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, a text phone requires both power and network data over a single twisted pair cable. So which of the following switches support this? First one is unmanaged switch, second is a PoE switch, third one is a hub, and last one is a DSL modem. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is unmanaged switch. This is incorrect answer. An unmanaged switch does not have the capability to provide power over Ethernet to connected switch. It simply forwards data packets between connected devices without any advanced feature like PoE. Second option is PoE switch. This is the correct options answer for this question. Explanation is a PoE switch is designed to provide power and network data over a single twisted pair cable, making it is a correct choice for a text phone that requires both power and network connectivity. This eliminates the need for separate power sources for devices like IP phones, cameras, and access points. Third is a hub. This is an incorrect answer. Hub is a basic networking device that simply broadcasts data to all connected devices without any intelligence or advanced features like PoE. It does not have the capability to provide power over Ethernet. Last option is DSL modem. This is also incorrect answer. DSL modem is a device used to connect a computer or router to telephone lines for DSL internet access. It is not designed to provide power or Ethernet to connected devices like a text phone. So let's move to the next question. And the next question is, a server is consistently rebooting under heavy load. You suspect the POC is failing. So which tool can confirm issues with voltage output? The first option is loopback plug. Second option is postcard. Third option is tone generator. And last option is multimeter. So let's check the correct answer for this question. First option is loopback plug. This is incorrect answer. A loopback plug is used to test network connections by looping the signal back to the source. It is not designed to test voltage output from a PCU. Next option is postcard. This is also incorrect answer. A postcard is used to troubleshoot issues during the power on step test post process of a computer. It does not specifically test voltage output from a PCU. Third option is tone generator. So this is also incorrect answer. A tone generator used to trace and test network cables by generating a tone that can be detected at the other end of the cable. It is not used to confirm issues with voltage output from a PSU. And the last option is multimeter, and this is the correct answer for this question. A multimeter is the correct tool to confirm issues with voltage output from a PSU. It can measure the voltage output of the PSU to determine if it is failing and causing the server to reboot under heavy load. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, a user reports the desktop randomly loses power. You notice the POC fan is not spinning and the POC is very hot. So what is the best immediate action? First option is reinstall the operating system. Second option is replace the falling PCU. Third option is clean dust from the CPU fan. And last option is install a better GPU. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is reinstall the operating system. So this is the incorrect answer. Reinstalling the operating system will not address the issue of the PSU fan not spinning and the POC overheating. This action is not related to the hardware problem described by the user and will not resolve the power loss issue. Second option is replace the failing PSU. This is the correct answer for this question. Replacing the failing PSU is the best immediate action to take in this situation. A failing PSU can lead to power loss and overheating, which can cause damage to the system components, and by replacing the PSU, you can ensure stable power supply and prevent further issues. Third option is clean dust from the CPU fan. This is the incorrect answer. While cleaning dust from the CPU fan is a good maintenance practice, it is not the best immediate action to take in this scenario. The issue with the POC fan not spinning and the POC overheating is likely due to failing PSU, and cleaning the CPU fan will not address the root cause of the problem. And the last option is install a better GPU. This is also incorrect answer. Installing a better GPU will not solve the issue of the PSU fan not spinning and the POC overheating. This action is unrelated to the hardware problem described by the user and will not resolve the power loss issue. So let's move to the next question. Next question is, a user requests additional storage for large video files. Which drive type offers the highest performance and minimum latency for large file transfer? First option is 5400 RPM HDD. Second option is USB flash drive. Third option is NVMe M.2 SSD. Last option is 7200 RPM HDD. So let's check the correct answer for this question. 5400 RPM HDD is not a correct answer. A 5400 RPM HDD is a traditional hard disk drive with a rotational speed of 5400 revolutions per minute. While it can offer decent storage capacity, it does not provide the highest performance or minimum latency for large file transfers compared to the other options. Next option is USB flash drive. This is also incorrect answer. USB flash drive is a portable storage device that offers convenience and portability. However, it may not provide the highest performance or minimum latency for large file transfers, especially when compared to specialized drive type designs for speed and efficiency. Third option is NVMe M.2 SSD. This is the correct answer for this question. And NVMe M.2 SSD is a solid state drive that utilizes non-volatile memory express NVMe technology and connects directly to the motherboard via an M.2 slot. This drive type offers the highest performance and minimum latency for large file transfers, making it an ideal choice for the user requiring fast access to data. The last option is 7200 RPM HDD. This is also incorrect answer. A 7200 RPM HDD is a traditional hard disk drive with a rotational speed of 7200 revolutions per minute. While it may offer better performance than 5400 RPM HDD, it still does not match the speed and efficiency of an NVMe M.2 SSD for large file transfers. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, a technician must replace a faulty CPU with a newer one. The CPU fits in the same socket, but the PC still won't boost. So which is the most likely cause? First option is the user's window version doesn't support the CPU. Second option is the GPU must be replaced with an updated model. Third option is the motherboard BIOS doesn't support the new CPU without a firmware update. And the last option is the POC power rating is too high. So let's check the correct answer for this question. So first option is the user's Windows version doesn't support the CPU. So this is the incorrect answer. The user's Windows version is not directly related to the CPU replacement process. While certain Windows version may have compatibility issues with specific CPUs, and this would not prevent the PC from posting after a CPU replacement. Next option is the GPU must be replaced with an updated model. So this is also incorrect answer. The GPU graphics processing unit is not directly related to the CPU replacement process. While a GPU upgrade may be beneficial for overall system performance, it would not prevent the PC from posting after a CPU replacement. Third option is the motherboard BIOS doesn't support the new CPU without a firmware update, and this is the correct answer for this question. The motherboard BIOS basic input-output system plays a critical role in recognizing and supporting the new CPU. If the BIOS is not updated to support the new CPU, the PC may fail to post even if the CPU physically fits in the socket. And the last option is the POC power rating is too high. This is also incorrect answer. The POC power supply unit power rating being too high would not prevent the PC from posting after a CPU replacement. As long as the POC can provide sufficient power for the new CPU, it should not be a factor in the PC not posting. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, user needs a laptop to use during lengthy flights. Which design attributes is most important to emphasize? So first option is extended battery life. Next option is dedicated GPU. Third option is 4K resolution, and the last option is liquid cooling system. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is extended battery life. So this is the correct answer for this question, and the explanation is extended battery life is the most important design attribute to emphasize for a laptop that will be used during lengthy flights. Having a longer battery life ensures that a user can work for entertain themselves without worrying about running out of power mid-flight. Next option is dedicated GPU. This is incorrect answer. While a dedicated GPU can enhance graphics performance for gaming or graphics design tasks, it is not as crucial for a laptop use during lengthy flights. Battery life is more essential for uninterrupted use. Third option is 4K resolution. This is also incorrect. 4K resolution provides a higher quality displays, but it is not as critical for a laptop used during flights. Extended battery life is more important for practically and usability. Last option is liquid cooling system. This is also incorrect answer. A liquid cooling system can help with heat dissipation and performance, but is not priority for a laptop use during flights. Extended battery life is a more essential feature for uninterrupted use. So let's move to the next question. And the next question is, a printing shop needs to produce thousands of high quality color vouchers weekly. So which printer is best suited for this workload? First option is impact printer, second option is thermal printer, third option is plotter, and last option is color laser printer. So let's check the correct answer for this question. So first option is impact printer. This is the incorrect answer. The impact printers are not suitable for producing high quality color vouchers as they use a mechanism that physically strikes the paper to create an image. This can result in lower print quality and is not ideal for color printing tasks. Next option is thermal printer. This is also incorrect. Thermal printers are commonly used for printing receipts or labels and are not designed for high quality color printing tasks like producing color vouchers. They use heat to transfer ink onto paper, which may not provide the vibrant colors needed for vouchers. Third option is plotter. This is also incorrect answer. Plotters are primarily used for printing large-scale engineering drawings and designs, not for producing high-quality color vouchers. They are more suitable for precise line drawings and technical illustrations rather than colorful marketing materials. And the last option is color laser printing, and this is the correct answer for this question. And the explanation is color laser printers are the best choice for producing high-quality color vouchers in a printing shop. They use toner cartridges to create vibrant colors and sharp images, making them ideal for commercial printing tasks like producing brochures in large quantities. So let's move to the next question. And the next question is, an architect's large format printer occasionally prints incompletely or with lines missing. So which of the following is the most likely issue? First option is corrupted print spooler. Next option is overheating fusure. Third option is USB cable not seated. And last option is print head alignment or clogged nozzles. So let's check the correct answer for this question. First option is corrupted print spooler. This is an incorrect answer. A corrupted print spooler can cause printing issues, but it is less likely to result in incomplete or missing files on the printed output. It is more commonly associated with print jobs not being processed or queued properly. Next option is overheating fusure. This is also incorrect answer. An overheating fusure can cause print quality issues, but it is not the most likely issues to result in incomplete or missing lines on the printing output. It is more commonly associated with issues like paper jams or smudging. Third option is USB cable not seated. This is also incorrect option. A USB cable not seated properly can cause connectivity issues, but it is less likely to result in incomplete or missing lines on the printed output. It is more commonly associated with the printer not being recognized by the computer. The last option is print head alignment or clogged nozzles. This is the correct answer for this question. So print head alignment or clogged nozzles are the most likely issues to cause incomplete or missing lines on the printed output. When the print head is misaligned or the nozzles are clogged, it can result in gaps or sticks in the printed output. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, you are trying to upgrade RAM on a desktop from 8 GB to 16 GB. The system never boots with the new models installed. So which is the first area to check? The first option is reinstall the OS. Second option is change the PLC to higher wattage. Third option is check the GPU for integrated memory. And the last option is verify the motherboard supports the new RAM voltage and speed. So let's check the correct answer. The first option is reinstall the OS. This is the incorrect answer. Reinstalling the operating system is not necessary when upgrading RAM, as the issue is related to hardware compatibility rather than software. Next option is change the PLC to higher wattage. This is also incorrect answer. Changing the power supply unit PSU to a higher wattage is not the first area to check when the system fails to boot with new RAM models. The PLC's wattage is not directly related to the RAM compatibility. Third option is check the GPU for integrated memory. This is also incorrect answer. Checking the graphic processing unit GPU for integrated memory is not the first area to check when upgrading RAM. The GPU's memory is separate from the system RAM and does not affect the system's ability to boot with new RAM models. And the last option is verify the motherboard supports the new RAM voltage and speed. So this is the correct answer for this question. And the explanation is, verifying that the motherboard supports the new RAM voltage and speed is the first area to check when the system fails to boot with new RAM models. Incompatible RAM voltage or speed can prevent the system from booting properly. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, a workstation has a GPU that requires additional 8-pin power. The the user complains that 3D applications crash under load, which issue is most likely? First option is the SATA controller is in ID mode. The next option is the monitor's backlight is failing. Third option is the CPU is missing a fan. The last option is the supplementary power cable is unplugged. So let's check the correct answer for this question. First option is the SATA controller is in ID mode. So this is the incorrect answer. The explanation is the SATA controller being in ID mode would not directly affect the performance of the GPU or the cause 3D applications to crash under load. The issue is related to storage devices and data transfer modes, not GPU power supply. Next option is the monitor's backlight is failing. This is also incorrect answer. The monitor's backlight failing would not cause 3D applications to crash under load. The issue would affect the display quality but not the performance of the GPU or the stability of 3D applications. Third option is the CPU is missing a fan, and the explanation is this is also incorrect answer. The CPU missing a fan would lead to overheating issues and potential CPU throttling, but it not directly cause the 3D applications to crash under load. This issue is most likely to result in system instability or shutdowns due to overheating. The last option is the supplementary power cable is unplugged. So this is the correct answer for this question, and the explanation is the most likely issue causing 3D applications to crash under load is the supplementary power cable being unplugged from the GPU. Without the additional power from the 8-pin connector, the GPU may not receive enough power to operate properly under heavy load, leading to crashes and instability. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, the customer wants a home theater PC to store and stream media. So which feature is most important? The first option is ECC memory, second option is 10 GB in NIC, third option is 4K gaming CPU, and last option is large capacity hard drives on NAS connectivity. So let's check the correct answer for this question. First option is ECC memory. This is incorrect answer. ECC memory is not the most important features for a home theater PC focused on storing and streaming media. ECC memory is typically used in servers and workstations for error correction and data integrity, so which is not a critical requirement for media storage and streaming. Second option is 10 GB in NIC. This is also incorrect answer. A 10 GB in NIC is not the most important feature for a home theater PC focused on storing and streaming media. While a high-speed network connection can be beneficial for streaming content, it is not as crucial as the other features like storage capacity for media storage and streaming. Third option is 4K gaming GPU. This is also incorrect option. A 4K gaming GPU is not the most important feature for a home theater PC focused on storing and streaming media. The high performance GPU is more relevant for gaming and graphic intensive tasks rather than media storage and streaming. The last option is large capacity hard drive or NAS connectivity. So this is the correct answer for this question, and the explanation is a large capacity hard drive or NAS network attached storage connectivity is the most important feature for a home theater PC storing and streaming media. A large capacity storage solution allows for storing a vast library of media files, while NAS connectivity enables easy access and streaming of media content to other devices on the network. So let's move to the next question. So the next question is, a new CPU was installed but the system frequently overheats. The CPU fan is running properly. So which next step is most likely to help? First option is disable overclocking. Next option is reapply thermal compound. Third option is add a second CPU socket. And last option is upgrade to a modular PSU. So let's check the correct answer for this question. So first option is disable overclocking. This is incorrect answer. Disabling overclocking can help reduce the heat generated by the CPU, but it may not directly address the issue of frequent overheating if the thermal compound is not properly applied or if there are other underlying issues causing the overheating. Next option is reapply thermal compound. So this is the correct answer for this question. The explanation is reapplying thermal compound is the most likely step to help in this situation. Proper application of thermal compound ensures efficient heat transfer between the CPU and the heatsink, which can significantly reduce the risk of overheating. Third option is add a second CPU socket. So this is the incorrect answer. Adding a second CPU socket will not directly address the issue of frequent overheating. The problem is likely related to the thermal management of the CPU and not the number of CPU sockets. And the last option is upgrade to modular PSU. This is also incorrect answer. Upgrading to modular PSU may help improve overall system stability and power efficiency. but it is unlikely to directly address the issue of frequent overheating caused by improper thermal compound application. So let's move to the next question. And the next question is, a high-end graphics workstation used for video editing. Which key hardware upgrade can reduce re-rendering times the most? First option is USB 2.0 flash drive. Next option is basic integrated GPU. Third option is 5400 RPM HDD. And last option is dedicated GPU with large VRAM. So let's check the correct answer for this question. So first option is USB 2.0 flash drive. This is the incorrect answer. A USB 2.0 flash drive is not directly related to the reducing rendering times for video editing. While it can be used for storage or transferring files, it does not impact the re-rendering performance of the workstation. Second option is basic integrated GPU. So this is also incorrect answer. A basic integrated GPU is not designed for high performance tasks like video editing. It lacks the processing power and memory required to significantly reduce rendering times. Upgrading it to a dedicated GPU would be more effective in improving performance. Third option is 5400 RPM HDD. This is also incorrect answer. 5400 RPM HDD is a slower hardware compared to faster options like SSDs. While upgrading to an SSD could improve overall system performance, it may not have as significant an impact on reducing rendering times as upgrading to dedicated GPU with large VRAM. The last option is dedicated GPU with large VRAM. So this is the correct answer for this question. So upgrading to dedicated GPU with large VRAM is the most effective hardware upgrade for reducing rendering times in video editing. A dedicated GPU is specifically designed for graphics intensive tasks like video editing, and having a large VRAM capacity allows for faster processing and rendering of high resolution video files. So let's move to the next question. Next question is, a technician replaced a broken laptop screen with a new LCD panel, but the screen remains dark. External monitor cap output works, but which is the most likely issue? So first option is CPU is overheating. Next option is no dedicated GPU installed. Third option is battery not seated. And last option is inverter cable is disconnected or damaged for an LCD backlight. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is CPU is overheating. So this is incorrect answer. The CPU overheating would not typically cause the laptop screen to remain dark after replacing the LCD panel. Overheating issues would usually result in performance issues or system shutdowns to prevent damage to the CPU. Next option is no dedicated GPU installed. This is also incorrect answer. The absence of dedicated GPU would not directly impact the functionality of the laptop screen after replacing the LCD panel. The GPU is primarily responsible for graphic processing and would not affect the display backlight. Third option is battery not seated. This is also incorrect answer. The battery is not being seated properly would not cause the laptop screen to remain dark after replacing the LCD panel. Battery issues typically affect power supply and charging, not the display functionality. And the last option is inverter cable is disconnected or damaged for an LCD backlight. So this is the correct answer for this question, and let's check the explanation. The inverter cable being disconnected or damaged is the most likely issue in this scenario. The inverter cable is responsible for providing power to the LCD backlight, and if it is not connected or damaged, the screen will remain dark despite the new LCD panel being installed. So let's move to the next question. Next question is, data entry clerk complains the keyboard is unresponsive and must be unplugged, replugged to fix it. So which is the most likely cause? First option is loose CPU socket. Second option is RAM mismatch. Third option is faulty USB port or cable. Last option is overheating GPU. So let's check the correct answer for this question. First option is loose CPU socket. So this is the incorrect answer. A loose CPU socket would not directly affect the functionality of the keyboard. The CPU socket is responsible for connecting the CPU to the motherboard, and issues it would not cause keyboard unresponsiveness. Second option is RAM mismatch. This is also incorrect answer. A RAM mismatch would not typically cause the keyboard to become unresponsive. RAM issues may lead to system instability or crashes, but they are not directly related to keyboard functionality. Third option is faulty USB port or cable. So this is the correct answer for this question. The faulty USB port or cable is the most likely cause of the keyboard being unresponsive and is requiring unplugging and replugging to fix. USB ports or cables can wear out over time, leading to connectivity issues with peripherals like keyboards. Last option is overheating GPU. So this is also incorrect answer. An overheating GPU would not typically affect the functionality of the keyboard. The GPU overheating may cause display issues or system crashes, but it not directly impact the keyboard's responsiveness. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, during a system build, you notice the standoffs don't align with all holes on the motherboard. The best practice is to, the first option is move or remove unneeded standoffs before installing the board. Second option is drill new holes in the case. Third option is return the motherboard as defective. The last option, force the motherboard onto the standoffs. So let's check the correct answer for this question. So first option is move or remove unneeded standoffs before installing the board. So this is the correct answer for this question, and the explanation is moving or removing unneeded standoffs before installing the motherboard is the best practice to prevent potential damage to the board. If standoffs do not align with all motherboard holes, forcing the board onto them can cause short circuits or damage components. Second option is drill new holes in the case. So this is also incorrect answer. Explanation is drilling new holes in the case is not recommended. It can avoid warranties, compromise the structural integrity of the case, and potentially damage the motherboard. It is the best to work with the existing standoffs and motherboard's layout. Third option is return the motherboards as defective. This is also incorrect answer. Returning the motherboard as defective without troubleshooting or attempting to resolve the standoffs alignment issues is premature. It is important to first assess the situation and try to find a solution before assuming the motherboard is faulty. Last option is force the motherboard onto all standoffs. This is also incorrect answer. Forcing the motherboard onto all standoffs, especially when they do not align with all holes, can lead to physical damage, short circuits, and potential malfunctioning of the components. It is crucial to ensure proper alignment and installation to avoid any issues during system operation. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, after performing a clean OS installation on an M.2 NVMe SSD, so you notice extremely slow read-write speeds. What might fix this? First option is switch the SSD mode to IDE. Second option is disable UEFI. Third option is configure bus speeds to 33 MHz. And last option is update the motherboard chipset or NVMe driver. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is switch the SSD mode to IDE. So this is also incorrect answer. Switching the SSD mode to IDE is not recommended solution for improving read-write speeds on the M.2 NVMe SSD. IDE mode is an older interface standard that may not fully utilize the capabilities on NVMe SSD, potentially leading to slower performance. Second option is disable UEFI. Disabling UEFI is not a solution for improving read-write speeds on an M.2 NVMe SSD. UEFI, Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, is a modern firmware interface that provides advanced features and security enhancements, but it is not directly related to SSD performance. That's why this is also incorrect answer. Third option is configure bus speed to 33 MHz. Configuring bus speeds to 33 MHz is not a solution for improving read-write speeds on an M.2 NVMe SSD. Bus speeds are typically set automatically by the system, and adjusting them to a specific value may not address the underlying issues of slow SSD performance. So the last option is update the motherboard chipset or NVMe driver. So this is the correct answer for this question, and the explanation is updating the motherboard chipset or NVMe driver is a recommended solution for addressing slow read-write speeds on an M.2 NVMe SSD. Outdated drivers or firmware can impact the performance of the SSD, and updating them can potentially resolve the speed issues and improve overall performance. That's why this is the correct answer. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, a user reports burning smell from the computer upon inspection. Due to bulging capacitors on the motherboard near the VRM section. So which action is best? First option is reinstall the OS. Second option is update the BIOS. Third option is replace the motherboard. Last option is reset the CPU. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is reinstall the OS. This is the incorrect answer. Reinstalling the OS will not address the issue of bulging capacitors on the motherboard. This action is unrelated to the hardware problem and will not resolve the burning smell reported by the user. Second option is the update the BIOS. This is also incorrect answer. Updating the BIOS will not fix the issue of bulging capacitors on the motherboard. While BIOS updates can improve system capability and performance, they will not resolve hardware issues such as damaged capacitors causing a burning smell. Third option is replace the motherboard. So this is the correct answer for this question. Replacing the motherboard is the best course of action when bulging capacitors are present near the VRM section. Damaged capacitors can lead to various issues including overheating, power supply problems, and even system failures. Replacing the motherboard will ensure the stability and safety of the computer. And the last option is reset the CPU. So resetting the CPU will not address the issue of bulging capacitors on the motherboard. That's why this is incorrect answer. While resetting components can sometimes resolve connectivity issues, it will not fix the underlying problems of damaged capacitor causing a burning smell. So let's move to the next question. Next question is a graphics designs PC frequently crashes when opening large files. We suspect the system memory is not sufficient. So which tool can confirm memory usage? First option is ping, second option is disk management, third option is system information, the last option is task manager or resource monitor. So let's check the correct answer. First option is ping. This is the incorrect answer. Ping is a network utility tool used to test the reachability of the host on an IP network. It is not designed to confirm memory usage on a PC. So it is not a correct tool for this scenario. Second option is disk management. This is also incorrect answer. Disk management is a Windows tool to manage disk partitions and volumes. It does not provide information about memory usage. So it is not a correct tool to confirm if system memory is sufficient. Third option is system information. So this is also incorrect answer. System information provides detailed information about the hardware and software components of a computer system. While it may display some information about memory, it does not offer real-time monitoring of memory usage, making it less suitable for confirming memory usage in this case. And the last option is task manager or resource monitor. So this is the correct answer for this question. Task manager resource monitors are tools in Windows that provides real-time monitoring of system performance, including memory usage. By using these tools, you can track the memory usage of the system and confirm it is sufficient for the graphic design PC to handle large files without crashing. So let's move to the next question. The next question is a small business user wants to share one printer among several employees on a tight budget. So which printing method is most cost effective and easy? The first option is purchase dedicated print servers for each user. Second option is use a shared USB printer on one user's PC host base. Third option is email to printer, and last option is cloud-based virtualizations. Let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is purchase dedicated print server for each user. So this is the incorrect answer. Purchasing dedicated print servers for each user would not be the most cost-effective option for a small business on a tight budget. This method would require additional hardware cost and maintenance, making it less practical for the situation described in the question. Second option is use a shared USB printer on one user's PC host base. So this is the correct answer for this question. Using a shared USB printer on one user's PC host base is the most cost-effective and easy method for sharing one printer among several employees on a tight budget. This method allows multiple users to connect to the printer through the host PC, eliminating the need for dedicated print servers or additional hardware. Third option is email to printer. This is also incorrect answer. Emailing to the printer is not practical printing method for sharing one printer among several employees. This method would require manual intervention for each print job, making it insufficient and not suitable for a business environment where multiple users need to access the printer. Last option is cloud-based virtualization. This is also incorrect answer. Cloud-based virtualization is not the most cost-effective and easy method for sharing one printer among several employees on tight budget. This method involves additional costs for cloud services and may require a technical expertise to set up and manage, making it less suitable for a small business with limited resources. So let's move to the next question. And the next question is you install a second SATA hard drive but the OS does not recognize it. The drive is dedicated in BIOS. Which action is needed first? First option is reinstall the OS. Second option is replace the SATA cable. Third option is initialize and format the disk in disk management. And last option is update the NIC driver. So let's check the correct answer for this question. The first option is reinstall the OS. This is the incorrect answer. Reinstalling the OS is not necessary when a new hard drive is not recognized by the operating system. This action would not address the issue of the OS not recognize the second SATA hard drive. Next option is replace the SATA cable. This is also incorrect answer. Replacing the SATA cable may be valid troubleshooting step if there are physical connectivity issues with the hard drive. However, since the drive is detected in BIOS, the cable connection is likely not the cause of the OS not recognize the drive. Third option is initialize and format the disk in disk management. So this is the correct answer for this question. Initializing and formatting the disk in disk management is the correct first step when a new hard drive is not recognized by the operating system. This process prepares the disk for a use and allows the OS to detect and access the drive. And the last option is update the NIC driver. This is also incorrect answer. Updating the NIC driver is unrelated to the issues of the OS not recognize a new SATA hard drive. The NIC driver is responsible for network connectivity and would not impact the detection of a storage device. So friend, this model is completed. So study hard, good luck, and thanks for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe the channel to see more video like this. I will upload next part shortly. Thanks for watching. Thank you.